Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the question is not, does God exist? That is not the question. What is the real question? The real question is God available? Is God accessible? Is God reachable? Because if He is not available, then the question of whether God exists or not is largely irrelevant. Isn't it? So what if He is up there, I'm down here, He's in His place, I am in mine. We shall never meet because He's not available, He's not reachable, He's not accessible. If that's the case, He might as well not exist. So the real question is not does God exist, but is God accessible? So what is this verse about? This verse is about the super excellent status of the pastimes of the Lord. How great His pastimes are. What is the definition of the word pastime? Anyone know? Say you have to open dictionary, Oxford Dictionary. What does the word pastime mean? Anyone care to venture? One of the front rows? Activities, right? Activity is some kind of activity. Very specifically, there's two kinds of activities. One is called karma. In the all of existence, there are only two kinds of activities. One is called karma and the other is called leela. So pastimes in the dictionary means the activities that are done purely and specifically for leisure or pleasure, and specifically precludes and excludes the need to do activities for work or necessity. That is the difference. When we do work out of necessity or out of fruitive desire, that is called karma. And any work that is done on the transcendental platform is known as leela. It is the play of the Lord. So therefore, the term pastimes is used. See, in the material world, we have time. And sometimes when you have nothing to do, we want to kill time. So we say time pass. Right? We try to do something for fun. So pastime is not time pass. Pastime is actual pleasure, actual leela. In the material world, we seek pleasure by getting relief from misery. Relief from misery is not pleasure, it's not happiness. Happiness is a different thing. दुख का निवारण सुख नहीं है, सुख अलग ही बात है, right? Misery is always in this world, in our existence. But we think, oh, we put on some AC, this is happiness. Or I'm constipated for 2 weeks and then we can go nicely, this is happiness. No, this is not happiness, this is relief from misery. Happiness is this, being on the spiritual realm. Now Krishna in chapter 4 says a very famous verse, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma neti mameti sorjana. Very nice verse. He says, one who understands the transcendental nature of my birth and pastimes, Janma karma chame divyam. What happens to him? That person will be freed from this cycle of birth and death. Right? And then later on in the same chapter, he says another verse that there is no work that affects me. I don't aspire for the fruit of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in fruitive activities. So these two verses they actually make a pattern. If you look carefully, it's a very beautiful pattern that Krishna says. In the first one he says, if you understand my birth and pastimes, or my birth and activities, my janma and karma, you will not have to suffer from janma and karma. My Janma and Karma are transcendental and will free you from your miserable Janma and Karma. Right? So we are miserable because we are stuck in this cycle chakra of birth and death. Completely miserable. So we need to understand Krishna is divine Janma and Karma. So to get rid of our fruitive activities, what do? He says, if you understand that when I do activities, my Leela, I don't do it for fruitive actions. I don't do it for fruitive results, nor do I ever get bound. If you understand this point, you also will not get bound. Isn't it wonderful? All we need to do is two things. We need to understand Krishna tattvataha. What about Krishna? Krishna's divine nature of his Janma and Karma and the fact that his karma does not bind him. Then we'll be freed from our karma, we'll be freed from our Janma Mrityu, and we'll be truly happy. So then let us, without delay, dive straight into the nectar of the pastimes of Krishna. This is the Janmashtami day today. Starting today, a lot of devotees are celebrating, starting kickoff today. Pre-Janmashtami festivities already started. So last few days, what we've been doing is we've been drinking deeply from this well of spirituality, known as Srimad Bhagavatam, this transcendental pastimes of Krishna. So one particular story we've been studying is the pastime of Krishna eating earth or dirt or mud. He's a very young child, very small, extremely beautiful, and he was caught. And Mother Yashoda says, Kasman ridam adantatman bhavan bhakshitavan raha vadanti tavaka hyete kumaras te grajopyayam. So she says, my dear Krishna, why are you so restless? Why are you so chanchal that you have eaten dirt in this solitary place, hiding alone? This complaint was lodged against you by none other than your own playmates, including your own elder brother, Balaram. How is this? And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Mother Yashoda was agitated by Krishna's restless misbehavior. Her house was full of sweets. She had so many sweets to eat. Why should this boy eat dirt? And Krishna replied, my dear mother, they have plotted together and lodged the complaints against me so that you will punish me. My elder brother Balaram has joined them. Actually, I have not done this. Take my words as true. Do not be angry and chastise me. So this is from the purport. Jai. So it's interesting. All this time, Krishna had done so many naughty things. Many naughty things. He stole butter and whatnot, broke people's pots. But Mother Yashoda didn't chastise him. But this was the first time she was a little upset. Why was she upset? Because this eating dirt, earth, is somewhat dangerous. You can get sick. You can eat something very toxic. Who knows how many germs or what other toxic materials in the earth. So she was genuinely afraid, and then she got angry. On top of that, she explained that, look, the people who are complaining against you are what? They are your friends. They are Kumaras te agrojopi ayam. Kumaras means very young children, 5-year-old and under. Now, children 5 and under do not lie when they are reporting something, generally. When a whole bunch of children are going to say something, usne ye kiya, they are not going to lie. They lie about themselves. But when they are telling on somebody else, they will not lie. They are very clean about that. You see? So she said, this is the caliber of the witness who have lodged this complaint against you. They are the plaintiff. And not only that, but agraja, grajopi ayam. Agraja refers to Balaram. Right? Ja means birth. Like Ja. Like Pankaja. Pankaja means born from the mud. Born from the mud means lotus. So, Agraja means born before. Anuja means born after. So, younger brother is called Anuja. Older brother is called Agraja. So, your own Agraja has told you. Has told on you. And then, now, why did Krishna even eat the dirt, first of all. What is the point? So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that here is another of Krishna's transcendental pastimes invented to please the gopis. He does it to please them. How can you please them by doing something so ridiculous? First, a complaint was lodged to Mother Yashoda about Krishna stealing, but she didn't chastise him. Now, in an attempt to awaken Mother Yashoda's anger, so that she would chastise Krishna, another complaint was invented that Krishna had eaten dirt. So how did Krishna respond? Naham bhakshitavanamba sarve mithyabhishamsinaha yadi satyagirastarhi samaksham pashyame mukham. Samaksham pashyame mukham. Come close, look at my mouth. So he says, Lord Krishna replied, my dear mother, I have never eaten dirt. All my friends who are complaining against me, they are all liars. If you think they are being truthful, then come, look directly into my mouth and examine it. So, in this verse, Devkinanda Prabhu clarified once that if you think about it, Krishna is presenting the three very important pramanas. He's saying, I didn't eat dirt. That is Shabda Pramana. Believe me, this is my word. Shabda Pramana. Second, he's Anuman, or inferring that these guys are liars, so you should not believe them. So infer, naturally what they're saying is untruth. Second Praman. And third Praman is Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means in front of the eyes. Aksha means eyes. Prati means in front. In front of your own eyes, you please come, he says, Samaksham Pashyame Mukham. Look into my own mouth. Look yourself. There's no dirt. No problem. All three pramanams I'm giving you, how can you still believe these people? Now, while Krishna was saying this, he was not having a cool head. He was actually quite upset. He was very angry. So let's read the purport section from this verse. Krishna presented himself as an innocent child. Why did he do this? To increase the transcendental ecstasy of maternal affection. Because he wants to intensify. This means that sometimes a small child speaks lies. For example, he may have stolen something or eaten something and yet deny that he has done so. We ordinarily see this in the material world. But in relation to Krishna, it is different. Such activities are meant to endow the devotee with transcendental ecstasy. That's the only reason for doing Leela. Right? Now anger, whether Yashoda is angry, Krishna is angry. Anger is one of the very interesting emotions. If you think about it, right? It is so rich and expressive. You can hide many things. You cannot hide anger. You can hide lust. You can hide greed. You can hide envy. You cannot hide anger very easily. Because it has so many symptoms. One of them or all of them will manifest very easily. Now Krishna was very upset. Why was he so upset? Because one of the things that make us extremely angry, and that anger lasts a very long time, is what? It is betrayal. Betrayal from your own close, dear friends. The one who you open up to. Imagine you stole all your secrets to somebody and they go and put it on Facebook. You know? You will feel so angry at them. Complete with photographs and videos. You know? You'll be very upset. Vishwasghat causes a lot of anger. Now there's a story behind why Krishna was so angry at this particular point in time. He had invested a lot in his friends. So I had heard of this katha by Devkinanda Prabhu, a very beautiful story. Krishna had embarked upon a project sometime right before this, called Project Mansukha. So, Mansukha was a skinny boy. And he was just sitting there and he had joined Krishna's circle yet. So Krishna approached Mansukha. Mansukha, do you want to be my friend? You want to join my friend circle? And Mansukha said, yes, Krishna, of course I want to be your friend. Well, you're not qualified yet. What? What do you mean I'm not qualified? No, because you are so skinny. If you want to join my friend circle, you have to be a little bit chubby and round. You can't be so skinny. I can count all your ribs. If I can count your ribs, you cannot join. Mansuka said, what can I do, Krishna? I come from a very poor family. I come from my father is so poor, and you are the son of the king, Maharaj Nanda. It's so easy for you to be chubby. How can I be chubby? The Krishna said, well, just get some makhan and eat it. Makhan will make you fat. Makhan? I have never even tasted makhan, Krishna. Oh, and Krishna felt really sad. So he said, you've never even tasted makhan? Okay, this is very important. What we will do, he called all his friends and said, we're going to start a new project called Project Mansukha. But when you want to have a project, you need to have a proper organized structure. So I'm going to create a cooperative institution. Cooperative institution, BGC VPM. It's a new acronym. We're going to register it. It's called BGC VPM. Non-profit organization. Cooperative movement. So, what does that stand for? Mansukha asked. Madana-gopāla Chor Vidya Prachar Mandal. Madana-gopāla Chor Vidya Prachar Mandal. We will form a group. How to promote the perfect way of stealing something. So he appointed all his friends to various positions. One was in charge of operations, another was communications director, another was information technology, another was research and development, human resources. All friends had got very nice posts in this organization. And of course, Krishna himself was CEO. He said, I'm going to be CEO since I started it. So you have to listen to me, right? Then Mansukha asked, Krishna, Chor Vidya, isn't that sinful? If we steal, won't we be suffering from sinful reaction? I have heard from my mother, stealing is wrong. Chori karne se kitna paap lagta hai. So then Krishna said, yeah, that is right. But I know a special mantra. There was a Kafala Rishi who had created this special mantra that only I know. And this mantra, if you do any stealing or anything sinful, that will be gone, especially for stealing. So what am I supposed to say? You steal and do everything. After that you say, Kafalak, Kafalak, Kafalak 3 times. Then his reaction is gone. No problem. Okay, Krishna. Krishna says, so it must be true. So then they're very happy. So together they successfully launched a number of projects on this endeavor. And sometimes the projects were so successful that it was under budget, on time, and there was surplus. So surplus, they had to feed the monkeys. So much surplus butter was coming. So then Krishna fed the monkeys and they had good time, and Mansukha's ribs disappeared and he became a little bit chubby. And Krishna was very happy. Now you can join my group. Then what happened was Krishna decided to eat the dirt. And these boys saw it. Now remember, when you're having a strong, close-knit group of friends, they don't tell on each other. They don't go on saying, Isne yo kiya, wo kiya. It doesn't work like that. And it is even more so when you are thieves. There's an English saying, as thick as thieves. Means they're such good friends, they're like thieves together. Because when you rob something together, you share a bond unlike any other. So this bond was very strong. It's like a mafia. Actually, joining ISKCON is like joining mafia. You know that? You can never leave because you know too much. You see? You cannot leave. So it was very tight, their friend circle. Now, in spite of all this intimate trust, every single friend went and told on Krishna. It's called being a rat. Ratted him out, like in the mafia. Not just one person, the whole group, and on top of that, Balram himself also went. And so he was very angry. And all of them is looking at them. Meri hi billi or mujhiko meow. Right? They say that. So he was very upset. Now, there is nothing more cute and captivating Then an extremely beautiful child, little child, with lovely soft curls of shiny black hair around his face, lotus-shaped eyes, kajal anointed, and the eyes are getting pink and they're getting red and they're welling up with hot tears of anger, and his breathing becomes faster and deeper, and he's biting his lips, and his arms are crossed over his chest in a defensive posture. This is a defensive posture. When you see somebody standing like this, means they're trying to hide something or they're very angry. They won't open up to you. This is a very defensive. So he's doing like this, very angry. In one hand, of course, is gripping his flute tighter and tighter. What is more cute than that? While that child is trying to defend against all these allegations, just that vision is so captivating in the heart. Varam deva moksham na mokshavadim na chanyam vrineham vareshadapiha. So in that prayer of Damodara Ashtaka, he says, "O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray for the boon of liberation or the highest liberation in eternal Vaikuntha, nor any other boon that can obtain from bhakti. I simply wish that this form of yours as Bal Gopal be ever manifest in my heart. For what use to me is of any other boon besides this?" That is how beautiful Krishna is in his Bal Gopal pastimes. Now, why does the Lord allow us to associate with Him, interact with Him, relate with Him like this in such intimacy? Because His mercy is unfathomably deep. Unfathomably, we cannot imagine how deep His mercy is. You know, when we have exams in school, we pray and hope that the person who is doing the marking is also unfathomably merciful, lenient, right? Like in maths, right? We have, if a complicated equation, we have to show the proofs. If you do maybe 80%, the answer was wrong, but the one who's lenient, they will give extra credit or some partial credit will be there. That 80% is there, he definitely knows what he's doing, but the mistake he made in the end. So that person is lenient. They give credit for a little bit of effort, even though the final thing was not correct. Right? That we have seen. There's a proper way to do it. And those are more lenient, we pray for that. Those are less lenient, there are people who are less lenient, they'll not give anything. The last answer should be correct. They don't care to look at any other work and they'll give you all zeros. So, the Lord is so lenient. He gives credit for anything that even resembles something that is correct. I'll give you an example. This is one of my favorite verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Bhagavatam 10, 14, 35. One of my favorite verses. This is in the prayers of Lord Brahma. He says, Esham Ghosha Nivasinam Uta Bhavan Kim Devarate Tinash Cheto Vishva Phalat Phalam Tvadaparam Kutrapyayan Muhyati Sadveshadiva Putanapi Sakula Tvameva Deva Pita Tadhamartha Suhrit Priyatmatanaya Pranashayastvat Krite. He says, Lord Brahma, praise. My mind becomes bewildered just trying to think of what reward other than you, my Lord, could be found anywhere in the world. You are the embodiment of all benedictions which you bestow upon these residents of the cowherd community of Vrindavan. He's observing, Brahma is observing. You yourself are the highest benediction. Now, this is the part where you see the super mercy of the Lord, incredible leniency. He says, you have already arranged to give yourself to who? Putana. This is a little bit after the Putana pastime, but he knows what's going on. Brahma knows. He says, you have arranged to give yourself to Putana. Not only Putana, and her family members also. in exchange for disguising herself as a devotee. Not being a devotee. Disguising herself as a devotee. So then he goes on to say, so what is left for you to give these devotees of Vrindavan? You've already given yourself to Putana. Abhi kuch baki nahi, you're bankrupt. Because you are the highest benediction. You've already given yourself to Putana, who was just pretending to be a devotee. Now what more do you have in your wallet to give these devotees of Vrindavan, whose homes, wealth, friends, dear relations, bodies, their children, and their very lives and hearts are dedicated only to you? Isn't that so sweet? How lenient Krishna is. Just imagine, he's so kindly disposed to Putana, who got the highest liberation. What is the highest liberation? Entering into Golok Dham and serving Krishna personally. Simply because she approached the Lord to do something that resembled Krishna conscious bhakti, Krishna conscious service, devotional service. Something that resembled it. She wanted to feed him poison. But what did Krishna say? That she wanted to feed him. The kind of poison was very intense. It's a halahal, kalakut, the same kind of poison that came out of the churning of milk ocean. Instant death. But he doesn't see that. He only sees the good. If he sees you in the right path, he'll give you not partial credit. He'll give you full credit. He says you're on the right path. Forget the right answer. Who cares about the answer? The right direction. At least you're facing the right way. So imagine if he does this for Putana. What would his disposition be towards someone who intentionally want to put effort to understand Krishna, to understand his relationship with Krishna, and to work with full intentionality to arouse genuine love, the original relationship that everyone has, the dormant love for him. Imagine someone's working hard for that. How mercifully disposed Krishna would be to that person, to those fortunate souls who have understood that no, I must turn my life toward Krishna. Imagine. We are all suffering because in our heart there is a hole, there's a vacuum. The vacuum is sucking everything into it and it's extremely painful. But that hole has a very specific shape. It is shaped just like Krishna. The Krishna-shaped hole in our heart that we are trying to fill with something that is not Krishna, it just increases the pain more. That hole must be filled only with Krishna. Krishna will be happy because he wants to hang out with you. You will be happy because you are actually yearning for Krishna. Nothing else. Anytime we think our hole is shaped differently, we will suffer. That whole shape is not going to change. But he does demand one thing to make our effort fruitful. This is a verse in Bhagavatam. Akamah sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi. Those who have udaradhi, who have very broad intelligence. What do you say? Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So tivra. Tivra means what? What is that? Intensity. Intensity is important. Why is intensity important? We have to follow the process to come out of our conditioning. Our conditioning is very, very deep. Our conditioning, our ignorance to think we are this body is very deep. So the intensity we need to apply to overcome that has to be equally deep, equally hard. Once Srila Prabhupada told some devotees, there's some other group of devotees and they wouldn't always chant all the rounds. They would chant maybe 2 rounds a day or something. And they would follow 2 out of 4 principles. Good enough, 2 out of 4 is not bad. They're following the 2 regular principles. You can choose. So Prabhupada heard this and he says, you cannot cook with smoke. You cannot cook with smoke. If you want khichdi for breakfast and you just have smoke of agarbatti, it's not going to cook. You may argue that fire is there. If smoke is there, fire must be there so I can cook. No. At least minimal intensity must be there for the process to work. Sankhya purvaka namagan, right? Sankhya Purvaka. Why is the number so important? The level of intensity has to be there for it to work. Therefore, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Even if you are full of material desires, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Yajeta Purusham Param. Now, Bhakti has to be Tivra. Just like Krishna's intense anger. His intense anger is so sweet. It's just like the perfect chutney. Prabhupada describes the perfect chutney. You know chutney we eat with samosas. Prabhupada describes chutney should be too spicy to eat and too sweet to stop eating. It's so hot and spicy you can't even put it in your mouth, but so sweet that you can't stop eating it. That Prabhupada said this is the recipe for chutney. So, Krishna consciousness is very sweet, but it has to be accompanied with the intensity of our effort. He wants to see that. And also, he wants to taste that. The anger that he shows, it's an intensity anger. It is not mundane anger. He's not really angry at anybody. These are rasas. Right? Sometimes you want to eat some tikha pav bhaji. It's a rasa. It's hard. Your nose is running, your eyes are watering. Kitna maza aa raha hai. Why? It looks like you're suffering, but it's a pleasure of a next level. Krishna wants to enjoy that. Now, one of Krishna's name is Madhupati. Madhupati means the king of sweetness. Madhuram. And this is a nice verse by Bilva Mangal Thakur that's written. Madhuram Madhuram Vapurasya Vibhor. Madhuram Madhuram Vadanam Madhuram. Madhugandhi Mridusmitam Etadaho. Madhuram 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 Madhuram. So he's describing Krishna's transcendental body is sweet. His face, Vadanam, is even sweeter than his body. You know, the cows lick Krishna. His body is literally sweet. Not just sweet to look at. Actually tastes sweet. His face is even sweeter than his body, but the soft smile. Madhugandhi mridu smitam etadaho. Soft smile and the breath of Krishna smells like honey. What a beautiful, intimate description. And that is sweeter still. So how sweet is Krishna? How sweet is his relationship with his devotees? How sweet is his leniency, his love? So, and how much intimacy we're seeing here. He's allowing us to actually smell his breath and just incredible sweetness, the smell of honey. Madhugandhi smrita. His smiling, sweet flavor. Therefore, he is called Madhupati, the king of all sweetness. But he is not just enjoying this by himself, like we read in the purport to this verse. Krishna becomes manifest and unmanifested to our mundane vision. He's always performing his pastimes either in this universe or some other universe. He's spending his effort and time to give us himself. He comes here, he does all these pastimes, he enjoys it, and they're so sweet. In the purport, Prabhupada says that you can't, even Narayan finds this wonderful. Narayan is Krishna himself, but from a different angle. See, so the sweetness that Krishna gives us is unfathomable. The leniency and mercy that he gives us is unfathomable. And who is more lenient than Krishna? Srimati Radharani. And when Krishna combines with Srimati Radharani, then we get an explosion of leniency, an explosion of love. We get Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Hello, Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai. He is so kind. He doesn't even care for qualifications. He doesn't even care for the tivra. He doesn't even care if you're intensely practicing Krishna consciousness. He is intoxicated and he is mad in love of Godhead. And when someone is mad and when someone is a billionaire and is in the mood for giving, he'll give everything. If a billionaire is gone, a little bit mad, and he has stacks of gold and is going through the street with his car, throwing gold here and there, because he's mad. He's lost it. He's broken open the treasure house of love of Godhead. He's throwing it here and there indiscriminately. You take it, you take it. Jagai Mata, you come also, you take it. Everybody is qualified because I've gone mad. You see, so sweetness and madness and audarya, right, is udar. So, what is the situation of that extremely unfortunate soul who knows there's a parade happening and gold is showering in the street and he stays at home? He loses out on the opportunity. The sunshine is there for everybody to enjoy. You know, in America, sunshine is rare. So when it comes out, we all go out, take off our clothes, sunbath. Here it's a little bit much, but in US it's rare, so we all go out. It's like a big celebration. The sun came out today, But those unfortunate bugs, insects who hide from the sun, crawl under the rock. It is not that the sun is not giving them mercy. They are choosing to hide under the rock and live the miserable, ridiculous, smelly life. Why should we do the same thing? We are intelligent to see someone is giving away love of Godhead for free. Let us follow his path. So on this auspicious occasion of Janmashtami, I would like to invite all of you to dive into this transcendental, sweet, nectarian ocean and swim in it and drink to our heart's content until we are also thoroughly intoxicated. This is what life is about. Life is not about being sober. Life is about being intoxicated. Intoxicated in love of Godhead. That's what Mahaprabhu taught. This is how to do it. So much intense love that we get intoxicated. Let us not lower our standard of living. When we have raised our standard of living so high, and then we choose to lower it to something that the pigs enjoy, that is a great, it's a travesty. It's a huge loss. So anybody who has tasted Krishna consciousness can never leave. Even if they leave, they'll always come back because that taste is not found in this world. The taste comes from Goloka. Goloka prema. Goloka? Premadhana, Harinama Sankirtana. So this Premadhana, this wealth of love is coming from Golok directly. It doesn't come from here. We don't even belong here actually. This is our temporary jail cell. We can choose to be here as long as we want. But it's ridiculous to choose to be here. So I'm very fortunate to be in the association of such exalted devotees. I can see everyone is so brilliant over here. The shining, effulgent. We don't really need any lights. There's so much effulgent from everyone's faces. The celebration of Janmashtami is coming up. Everybody is steeped in thoughts of Krishna. And so thank you all very, very much for allowing me to share a few words and repeat what Srila Prabhupada said. Srila Prabhupada ki! Hare Krishna.
Thank you for a wonderful class. I have one question. You are saying it's not important to understand whether Krishna exists or not, or God exists or not. It is important to know how we can meet Him, how we can approach Him. If we can approach Him, then His being existence has a meaning. If we cannot approach Him, that has no meaning, whether it exists or not. And my question is to how to approach it.
Yeah, it's a very good question. So initially I started out by saying that the real question is not whether God exists or not. The real question is He available? Is He approachable? Can we reach Him? That's the real what matters. Because if we can't reach Him, then His existence, He may exist, He may not exist, not so important, becomes irrelevant. So now the question is how to approach Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada, from what I have heard and read, has explained in many different places that one must approach Krishna via the bona fide channels. Bona fide channels. Like there's these watches. There's a watch called, what's a really expensive watch? Rolex. Yeah, Rolex. That's the one. Rolex. So Rolex is a very expensive watch. My grandfather has a Rolex. It's made of solid gold. Solid gold. And the face plate is made of crystal of sapphire. And inside there's many diamonds. And he bought it for $12,000. Now I saw that same Rolex in Chinatown. In New York City, there's a Chinatown area, small bazaar, where they sell Rolexes. The same exact Rolex I saw for $12. Like, wow, that's a good deal. $12,000 watch I'm getting for $12. But I didn't buy it. Why? Because that is not the authorized channel. The authorized channel or the authorized way to approach Krishna is to find out who is the bona fide representative of Krishna. Now, there is a conversation between Srila Prabhupada and John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And Yoko Ono is the wife of John Lennon. She was the Beatles, right? Yoko Ono kept bugging Srila Prabhupada. Yeah, you're saying you must approach a guru, you must find a guru. How do I know who's a guru? Then Prabhupada said, yeah, you must first approach a guru and learn the scriptures, then you'll understand how to find a guru. Then Yoko Ono said, that doesn't make any sense. How can you first find a guru and then learn from him how to find a guru? Prabhupada said, okay, listen carefully. To understand who is the bona fide representative of Krishna, find that person who is most addicted to Krishna. You heard that one, haven't you? Yes. Prabhupada used that word, addicted to Krishna. That is the qualification. If someone is only talking of Krishna, only glorifying Krishna, every moment of his life is dedicated to Krishna, he is coming in disciplic succession of other addicts of Krishna. His guru is also addict, and all the way up to Krishna, up to Mahaprabhu, who is a super addict. So, if you are addicted to Krishna, you show your life to be Krishna conscious, you live that path every moment without deviance, that is the person to whom to approach to reach Krishna. And how to serve? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. So, just try to approach a spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, and serve him submissively. Pranipat. You know what pranipat means? Yeah. Pranipat, if you break it down, means forward and down. Pranipat, flat. So you go towards him, bend forward and go flat. Actually, he's giving step by step how to bow down. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Then what? Pariprashnena. You inquire submissively about the science of spirituality, about who God is, who Krishna is. We have to. And sevaya, we must serve. We must serve them submissively. Service is not optional. It is not academic that you pay the fee and then the teacher, you can abuse the teacher also and you get a degree. No. Pranipatena sevaya. Then when the guru is pleased, only can you get access to Krishna. The guru is not pleased, even though you have theory, you will not get access to Krishna. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado yasya prasada na gati kutopi. It's not possible to make any progress. So, the way to approach, find Krishna, and not the way, but the only way, is to find a bona fide guru who is in line in the parampara system and serve him, inquire from him, and you follow the process. Listen to instructions. Guru parampara system is very important. Like in everybody has these days, like in USA, like if you drive in US or Europe, anywhere, you cannot go anywhere these days without GPS. Because GPS tells us two things. It tells us where to turn and all that. It also tells us where you are right now. So, like that, we need a guide who's telling us where we are and where to turn. We may have maps, but GPS is crucial nowadays. Nowadays, you can't even buy maps anymore in US. It's all GPS. So, GPS stands for Guru Parampara System. Guru Parampara System is the bona fide way to go to where you want to go. Right? So, that is the way and that is the only way. Prabhu, did I answer your question? Yes, Prabhu. Yes, very good question. He's saying, Prabhuji is thank you, very good question. So, in Kali Yuga, you can easily fake addiction. And there are many fake sadhus out there. Some of them will do very weird things. They'll dress up as a gopi, or they'll say, I'm completely in love with Krishna, I'm a gopi. And then after their half an hour session of gopi bhav, then they go for BD, So, there's no doubt about it. So, Prabhupada said, if you want to buy gold, you must at least know what gold is. If you go to cloth shop, how are you going to get gold? You want to buy Apple, iPhone, and you go to the sabji mandi because apple, no? No, that is a different apple. You have to at least know the product, at least have a basic understanding what is the product that you want to buy. Otherwise, you will be cheated. There is such a thing as fool's gold. Fool's gold looks very much like gold, but it's actually iron pyrite. It's pyrite made of iron combined with sulfur. So when we study geology, we see that iron pyrite, it shines so much, but it shines even more than gold actually. It shines like brass. Whoa, this is better than gold. But gold has a nice, deep, sweet color. You see? But because the fool's gold, the person who is a fool will think it's gold, well, cheater and cheated. Krishna will arrange you to meet the person you want to meet. He'll arrange you to meet fool's gold because we have chosen to go the path of foolishness, chosen to go the path of cheapness. $12 Rolex or $12,000 Rolex. Which one do you want? Right? I want $12,000 Rolex. I don't have money. Okay, I'll work hard for it, but I will not spend my $12 on Chinatown Rolex. We do not compromise on the quality of what goes in. Right? We don't want to drink anything, any old water. So we should not compromise on the quality of what goes into our senses also. And the quality of the person who we accept. Right? There is a bird called the Chatak bird. You know Chatak? I think it's a Chatak bird. Chatak bird will not drink water that is fallen on the ground. You know, other birds will go in the puddle and they'll drink the water. Chatak bird only drinks water that is falling from the sky. And it flies upwards when it's raining only. Quality control is very important. What goes inside your senses is very important. So what you choose, let's not be cheated by those kind of people who are going to influence our senses. And Chatak bird is so particular, it will only drink rainwater that is falling during Rohini Nakshatra, because that is the purest rainwater. Imagine how high standard they have. You see, so similarly, we should be very careful of what we eat. And by eat, I mean what we take into our senses. It's very important. What we entertain on the screen of our mind, what images we project in our mind, that is also eating. That is also food. So we should not get cheated by the people who are pretending to give us food, but they're giving us toxic or milavat. Prabhupada did not compromise on that. So we should at least know what the product is. There are two dogs in our heart that are fighting. You know, have you seen dogs? They have dog fights. There are two dogs in our heart that are fighting for supremacy. One is a good dog, the other is a bad dog. So every day they will fight, once a day or twice a day. Now who will win? Which dog will win? The good dog or the bad dog? How do you know which dog is going to win? That dog will win, not who is strong. Yes, that is part of the thing. But that dog will win who has eaten more, who you feed. So in our heart there are two dogs and they have one bowl only, one katori. They eat from the same katori because there's only, one mind. So, but if you put the food that is for the good dog, the bad dog will not touch it. And if you put food for the bad dog, the good dog will not touch it. Right? There's only one katori. So today I put food for the bad dog. Some images I look at, some things I hear, some people I associate with that are very much liked by the bad dog. That bad dog gets stronger and stronger. The good dog starves for that day. Then what happens? They'll start fighting at some point. So there comes a time in the day or in our life where we make a choice which way to go, this way, that way. And if the bad dog is prominent, we will go the path of the bad dog. Now once the dogs start fighting, at that point you cannot do anything. You see, at that point you think, oh, let me do something. It's too late. We have to start by feeding. Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi. The sattva gun starts with ahar. Everything else follows. What you take in is your ahar, starting with food. So, to be in the mode of goodness starts with ahar. What you eat what you drink, what you breathe, who you associate with, what kind of media you expose your senses to. That is what's going to determine your prominent mode. And once we cultivate that mode, and that mode becomes prominent, Krishna says, one acts helplessly according to the modes he's cultivated. At that point, you're helpless. Even if you are conditioned by mode of goodness, and you're put in the situation of passion, you are so helpless, you will always act in the mode of goodness. Because you have built the strength. So it's important to not wait for the dogs to fight. Start feeding the good dog only and starve the bad dog every single day. We don't need the bad dog. So, choose wisely who you associate with. Choose wisely whether the person who is teaching me is a genuine guru, genuine addict of Krishna, or an addict of other substances. There are other substances also available, but we only want pure Krishna addicts. They do not compromise on their path, on their practice. Krishna conscious devotees live above mundane morality. That does not mean they will break the principles of morality. When you see someone breaking the principle of morality, that person is not a genuine person. Live above the platform of mundane morality, not below it. Krishna conscious person is always a perfect gentleman. So the person has to be a perfect gentleman, not only within 2 hours when he's doing katha, but 24 hours. The 2-hour katha is not enough to judge a person. You have to follow them around to see. You're going to dedicate your life to somebody, that person better be worth dedicating life to. So yes, in Kali Yuga, majority of those people who are posing to be representatives of God, of Krishna, unfortunately it's the effect of Kali Yuga, like you said, Prabhu. It's just a byproduct. But doesn't mean that there is no genuine thing. Just because $12 Rolex is there doesn't mean there is no genuine Rolex. Right? We have genuine thing. Also, Kali Yuga is like winter. In US or in Europe, the winter is very harsh. If you stand outside in one of the cold days, you can die within a couple of hours. It's so cold. The wind blows right through you. 40 degrees below zero. Wind chill. I've seen it. I've felt it. So Kali Yuga is like winter. There are 4 seasons, right? Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. So this is the winter season. So you can't say, kya kare bhai, Kali Yuga hai, what choice do we have? We have to freeze to death. It's winter. No. You have to wear the proper clothing. You have to wear 7 layers of jackets and all that to be able to function. Can't say it's the winter, what can I do? Let me die. No. We will not accept the influence of Kali Yuga. Kali Santaran Upanishad say, you have to chant this magical mantra, it will reverse all the effects of Kali Yuga. Anyone know that mantra? Special mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There is an Upanishad called Kali Santaran Upanishad, specifically for Kali Yuga. So we chant that mantra means the proper jacket is there. Not a thin jacket. You wear 16 layers. 16 rounds we must do. So, very easy in Kali Yuga, follow Srila Prabhupada. Follow 4, follow 16. 4 and 16, 7, 365, 24. You know what those numbers are, right? 24, 7, 365, 4 and 16. Not a phone number. This is 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and in leap year, 366 days. What do? Follow 4 regular principles, chant Hare Krishna, 16 rounds. You serve Krishna during the day and dream of Krishna during the night. There's no question. Krishna will be lenient to us. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Lord. Hare Krishna. I think we're running out of time. I think we're out of time, right? Okay, if there are no more questions, then we can end here. Oh, one more question. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Our Rishi Muni command a very high position in our Vedic civilization. But when we closely look at their life, they were contributors of mantras in Veda which related to demigods. And they were worshippers of demigods. They least knew about Krishna.
Sorry?
They least knew about Krishna.
The Rishis knew about Krishna.
Yeah,
yes.
Rishi. So I have studied about 2 dozen Rishis' lifestyle. It is all surrounded with demigods. So, how to explain this? That they are unaware of Krishna. They are much involved with demigods or jnana or karmakand and not Krishna. And still they are called the great
Munis, rishis and
holy,
munis.
holy rishis.
Yes.
What is your explanation about this?
Okay, so this is not my explanation. I don't have any explanations. I will just repeat what Prabhupada said. So generally when someone asks what is my opinion, I have no opinions. My opinion means nothing anyway. But my understanding of what I've read in Srila Prabhupada. So the question was, the Rishi Munis, they speak about demigods and they worship demigods. And did they know about Krishna? Maybe they knew, the great rishis, they should know about Krishna. They should know about Krishna's greatness. And we see there many scriptures also describing demigods. Some scriptures describe demigods to be the greatest, and this is the demigod we should worship. And it's quite confusing actually, that we see the scriptures, 18 Puranas, many of them are dedicated to one particular demigod. You got Durga, Shiva, Ganesh, etc. And then you have Rishi Munis also following some of those Puranas. And it is the same Pramana, Shabda Pramana, it's written by Vyasadeva. So how can we resolve this? I mean, you open Devi Bhagavad, there's apparently something called Devi Bhagavad, the Shiv Purana. And in that one you will find Shiva is exalted as a supreme. And Devi Bhagavad, Devi is exalted as supreme. Now we were Krishnas, oh you are all Krishnas, you will pull your Bhagavatam, we'll pull ours. You do what you want, we'll do what we want, we're all good, all correct. No. It's like a buffet. You choose, you don't want to eat Chinese, you eat South Indian. It's all food anyway. It's not like that. It's a good question because it actually confuses a lot of us who have come from Hindu backgrounds, because there are two biggest misconceptions in Hindu culture, modern Hindu culture. One, that all these gods, ultimately there's one highest Brahman who is the source of all these manifestations of different gods. But highest is the impersonal. That is one big misconception. Second big misconception is that there are many gods, doesn't matter who you worship, you'll go to that god. It's true that you go to that particular demigod, you worship that one, you'll go there, and they're all equal. Because they're described in all the scriptures, and the scriptures are all equal. They are not all equal. That is the point to be understood. Couple of angles you can look at it. I'll try to make it brief, just a few minutes. If you go to the court of law in India, you have to swear upon something that, okay, I'm going to swear upon, like in US they swear upon the Bible. In India you swear upon Bhagavad Gita. Why don't you swear upon Vishnu Puran, or why don't you swear upon Shiv Puran or Devi Puran or some other scripture? Universally, it is accepted by every Hindu that Gita is in fact the essence of Hinduism. Even those who worship Shiva and Durga. It is true. No one will say Gita is wrong. No one. But in the Gita itself, Krishna says, Kamaisyaistayar hita jnana, one whose consciousness has been stolen, whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires, they will turn to the demigods. So that is Krishna's words. One angle. Another point Krishna makes is that he tells those in mode of goodness, they'll worship demigods. So why demigod worship is promoted by Krishna and at the same time also demoted in the same book. So it is a ladder of growth. If one is coming from purely materialistic animal level life, then when you recognize you can get much better animal level, a much better sense gratification by worshipping this demigod, that demigod. At least the idea of a higher power becomes manifest in their heart, and they learn that. So you start seeing the immediate sources, but not the ultimate source. That's one angle, that lower to higher progression. Secondly, the modes are very difficult to overcome. 3 modes. So the 3 modes, you'll find large groups of people in the lower modes. This goodness, this passion, ignorance. So Vyasadeva, who has written all the Puranas, he himself has described that out of 18 Puranas, divided into 3 groups, there are 6 Puranas that are prominently designed for those in the mode of passion, 6 for ignorance, and 6 for those who are in mode of goodness. And the Srimad Bhagavata Purana is a mode of pure goodness. So, The idea is to bring everybody, no matter what level of attraction or conditioning they're at, into the fold of Vedic umbrella. And then gradually, even at the periphery, there'll be people who don't want anything except alcohol and meat. Even those people, somehow bring them in. Gradually and slowly. It will take multiple lifetimes. But make it somewhat inviting to those people who cannot think straight at all. That is the idea while we have so many levels. So, if you are already on the higher level, then it's no point saying that, oh, that in that level they are doing this, right? They're allowed to eat meat in that level, so I should also go. No, it's not all the same level. So that is the point of Vyasadeva doing it. Now, this is Vyasadev's idea of putting it together. But Vyasadev's guru was pretty upset at him. Vyasadeva was feeling very morose. In the beginning of Bhagavatam, we know this. And his guru came and said, you did something very abominable by putting all these different karma kanda and demigod worship and all. You did something, a disservice to the society. He says that to his disciple, Jugupsitam. Jugupsitam means an abominable thing you did. You are a rascal. You are my disciple. I am ashamed of you. You correct this right now. That is why you are feeling depressed. Right? So then, Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's why he is called Mahamuni. You mentioned the Muni and Rishis. But there is Mahamuni. Mahamuni is Vyasadeva, right? Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kim va parairishvaro sadya hridya varudhyatetra kritibhi shushrusubhish tachanat. So, Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kim va parairishvaro. What is the need for anything else? Any other scripture behind this? Beside this? There is no need. Therefore, Bhagavatam is Amala Purana. Amala Purana. Therefore, we don't need to be confused. We should understand the context and the perspective of your question and why those other things exist. Why the Munis in other traditions say what they say. And why it's actually good for those particular classes of people in that particular historical context. But in today's world, in light of what is available to us, what is available given by Mahaprabhu himself, we do not need to encourage that at all. We need to wake people up because time is very short. Right? Bhagavatam is the way and the only way, actually. Right? There's a capsule verse that encapsulates our entire Gaudiya philosophy. How to live. It's written by Prabodhanand Saraswati. It tells us who to worship, which is our book, how to worship. You know that verse? Anyone know that verse? Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanaya Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadu Vargenaya Kalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhur Matamidam Tatradara Napara. So this is the mata, the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no other mata. What is that? Aradhyo Bhagavan Vajesha Tanaya. The only worshipable Lord is Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda. And what is his dham? Vrindavan. And what is the book? Srimad Bhagavatam Amala Pramanam. It's the pramana that is spotless. Ramya Kachidupasana. And the greatest kind of worship is that done by the gopis. And there is the mat of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, yes, perspective is important. Those questions of confusion come up, but we have to understand why it was there and what to do now about it. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.